Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Oh man, do we have a special show today. I want to thank my friends at Inveniam for putting this together. High five to Pat. We're going to get Pat on as soon as we can, probably in the next month or so. Pat's out there being a thought leader. We're here with my good friend Marson Cunha. Oh man, I always mess it up.
Cunha.
Thank you.
You'll get there. You get there.
I mean, we've only been friends for I don't even know how long, well more than a year. And we're here at the Inveniam 3.0 conference. We're at the Ritz-Carlton Coconut Grove in Miami. High five to the Ritz-Carlton for our wonderful room and the fabulous water. Now, we're here at this conference. We'll be joined by our good friend, Sam Grossman. Sam's finishing up moderating one of the panels that talks about Inveniam's ecosystem and how all the different stakeholders work together to make transactions on the blockchain easier for both financial assets, real estate assets. There's even a guy that does art here. He's tremendous. I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry, sponsors for the last decade plus. We love being a product rep for Warren Henry. We'll be at Supercar Saturday this weekend, second Saturday of every month. I can't wait to see Larry, Warren, Eric, and the rest of the Warren Henry team. I love them. Remember, if you need a Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Lincoln, all those great cars, Audi that they sell, remember to check out Warren Henry. So, Marson, let's get right into it. What's this conference? Who's attending? And why does anybody care?
Great questions. Let's kind of take it slow. So what's this conference?
Yeah, tell me.
It's all of us guys that are in tokenization, building digital assets. Many of us come from investment banking. Some of the folks come from tech. We're all coming together to really discuss what we've been building in the past few years.
Okay, what's your background?
20 years running funds, mostly real estate and private equity. Borrowing a dear friend of mine's line, I'm a reformed investment banker.
He's so much smarter than I am.
And you're always so kind.
It's the truth.
But
you'll see.
But yeah, then I transitioned over to the data side. So instead of actually managing funds and managing money, I'm managing data.
He also is one of my mentors, and he coaches me. Hopefully I don't speak too fast and I can go slowly and build with him. So let's talk a little bit about who's here, because we'll wait for Sam, because some of these questions are for Sam. We talked about why we're here. Who's here? I said stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders that are at the conference? We have these rules, so we can't be specific, but we can speak in general.
Yeah, so we've got everyone from our ecosystem here, or at least most of the folks here. So we're talking about fund admins, we're talking about major GPs, we've got valuation agents, auditors. So everyone and anyone who has some sort of space in our ecosystem is a part of the conversation.
So let me kind of translate that for our viewers now.
That's fair.
So what's really going on here is that they're building a thought leadership cadre that they're going to send out to the different sectors of the community to help build knowledge base, so that as the Web 3.0 technology platforms become more readily available and more integrated, people will feel easier and more at ease about using them and working with them. For me, I'm creating this video so that I can send it to a bunch of the people I work with so they'll better understand it. It's a great compliment to what I did last week with Jim McCarthy, where we talked about the digitization and tokenization of real estate. So the stakeholders that are here are all the different independent silos that come together.
Yeah, in a way. So think of it this way. You've got private capital markets, right? So that means private real estate, private equity, private credit. And now as well, art. You met folks from the art group, right?
Yeah, we can't talk about exactly who's here. We're under strict rules that Pat made us follow. Pat's the guy that runs everything.
And basically, we're now enabling this entire ecosystem of private capital markets, so that it is better, more transparent, data heavy, right? But in a way that you can trust it. So you can actually bridge the gap between public and private markets, capture a lot more value with a lot more transparency, and trade on a global scale. So that's why we've got folks from all over the US, but also from places like Asia and Europe. Again, try not to get too specific, but people from all over the globe that are coming in because they understand what it is that we need to get built, to build together, and stuff that we have been building together. So the way we've been ramping up this entire business is, I think we've reached north of 67 billion of assets on platform. And that's only possible because we've got such a great ecosystem.
And just to further build out that question a little bit, or that answer, my first client for our new Web 3.0 focused real estate business is from New Zealand, and they have 100+ investors. We're going to bring them within the ecosystem, working with some of the stakeholders that are here. I got to see some of those stakeholders and shake hands. I had other people that are going to provide other collateral information and other collateral services to us. I've also met some angel investors that are really interested in what I'm particularly able to do, which is translate all of this into English for my real estate friends. So that's what really we're going to be doing here today. We're going to translate all of this in English. Tell me about the status of the ecosystem and what people are saying.
So let's start with what people are saying, right? It's great to have everyone together to keep doing more deals and to expand on our knowledge base. So it's more of a working session than a conference, and it's on purpose so that we do spend time together, we problem solve together, and by the time we're done with our time here, we're just a lot closer and more in sync.
Yeah, so what this really is becoming is it's like becoming an annual, I'm going to have to say it, an annual fraternity meeting. It really is. It really is. The people are all in fraternity. It's like a fraternity. They all believe in this concept. When you listen to some of the comments, people ask, when the recession starts, people will start saying what inning we're in. So let's talk about where we are in the market acceptance of this concept. And I'd like to go first. To me, I liken this to when Michael Milken started the liquefaction of the credit market, or the junk bond. Okay, but what it was the ability for companies that weren't AAA rated to get access to capital. People couldn't get capital at that time. This guy figured out how to deliver the capital.
Sure, yeah. So it's, in a way, it is akin to what he built out in terms of evangelizing people and bringing them all together. But at the same time, we're just enhancing everything that you have. So think about securities laws and frameworks and structures. We're just enhancing that with tech, right? And it's on purpose supposed to sound and look simple because that is the purpose. Tech's supposed to do the heavy lifting, because all of a sudden you can dig deep into whatever it is that you're offering from the comfort of your home, wherever it is. But all of a sudden you're here in Miami and you're investing in Singapore.
Well, actually, I talk about the guy from Singapore that's investing in Miami. But nevertheless, I promise to use the word file cabinet at least 3 times during this, because what we're really doing is creating a file cabinet that's updated continuously, that provides great data. Great data makes better decisions. When you can make better decisions, you have a tighter mark on value. And then I'm going to translate this into real estate now. This is akin to when I was trying to buy portfolios from the RTC. We were funding ourselves with high net worth investors. We've had Ethan Penneron in the past on the show. Ethan said that when he got involved, it was the right time. If he had gotten involved a year early, too early, a year late, too late. But he said he got involved at just the right time. What's the right time right now? We're kind of figuring that out. And the reality is that there has been such a large amount of free money in the system that people haven't really needed to go find creative and alternative financing methods. That's changing. Up to you. What do you think about that?
I think it's not just alternative means of financing. It's really just being able to get better pricing because you've got better data and better investment decisions. So how do you decide on what to invest in?
Well,
let's start with that. Something simple. How do you decide to invest in something? It's probably an asset class that you are familiar with or that you like.
Yes, real estate for me.
Okay. You're comfortable with the risks.
Real estate is a very dynamic asset class. There's completely imperfect information. So a lot of the times you do information arbitrage, but that's changing right here.
But the thing is, in order for that to happen, you've gone through a process, right? You've learned about the real estate market. You've acted in the real estate market. You still act in the real estate market. So you're comfortable with the asset class. If I'm trying to bring you over to private credit, Maybe that you're not comfortable with it. So how can I sell you on private credit if you don't understand it? So if you had data that gave you comfort and you figured out, you know what, I need to diversify my portfolio.
And it was simplified so I could understand it.
Exactly. But you were able to dig through the data just by clicking a button on your computer. And you get to drill down on data and understand it and trust it. You're going to see there are great opportunities in different asset classes for you to invest with reputable people, with firms that have audited their balance sheets or have rated the deals so that you understand what it is you're getting yourself into. So it's all about the risk and return ratio. But in order for that to exist in private markets, you need data. Now, naturally, whoever owns the data controls the data, and we like to keep it that way. So we're not going to be controlling and owning any of the data, but we will be enabling people to bridge the asymmetry gap that you have in private markets.
There you go. I was waiting for him to say asymmetrical versus symmetrical, because that's really what we're talking about here. What does that really mean? We'll get to that in a second, but I have to say again, what they really are is an automated filing cabinet that you can depend on. Filing cabinet now twice.
Sure, that's fair, but
Talk to me about asymmetrical and symmetrical, because that's the problem that Milken solved in junk bonds and then Ethan solved in the capital markets for real estate the last time around.
Sure. Why don't we take a step back and look at what the SEC did with Edgar in the 90s, right? They launched Edgar, was I think, I want to say 10 years in the making.
What is Edgar?
So Edgar is a data repository, centralized data repository for public companies to list all their financials, all their data, all of their obligations with the public markets, right?
Okay.
But you still need to read through everything. But what they did in the 90s actually helped increase liquidity and volume fivefold, right? So because you all of a sudden had a place that you could tap into and have data, and it was organized, it just enhanced the entire system.
Why did it increase liquidity and bring in more people? Now I want to bring in our special guest, Sam Grossman. Sam, come on in, sit in the middle. That's where you belong. You're the big guy here. We haven't done any ads for Warren Henry yet, so you haven't missed anything.
Perfect. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Sam. This is my good friend, Sam Grossman. You can now be added to the bottom line by Mr. Mendoza. We put you in the middle because you're the center of everything. You're the one that put this together. There he is. Thank you so much, Mr. Mendoza. You're actually doing it today. So, Sam, we've been talking about where we are, who's here, why they're here. This is the ecosystem that you and your team are putting together. We talked about why it's important. We talked about the status of the ecosystem. I've mentioned the word file cabinet twice. I only need to mention it one more time to reach my goal. But tell us a little bit about what your role is here at Inveniam, and without mentioning any names or breaking any rules, why this is important for people to know, because you're the real estate guy.
Thank you, Jim. Always a pleasure. Why are we here? We're here to bring together the ecosystem, to move the ecosystem forward. This is all about how we can make everyone else in the room better. And when I say we, it's all of us. So it doesn't matter if you do the same thing as the guy sitting next to you, or you do something different. The point of this conference is to bring everyone together to move the ecosystem forward.
Explain what the ecosystem is and why data is so important. And I'm going to say it now, and why the automated filing cabinet that you provide is so. Now I said it 3 times, and I have to say it again.
Everything it begins and ends with data. What we're doing is we're using blockchain. We're combining blockchain and real estate, right? There's a lot of different apps that can run on top of blockchain. What blockchain does is 3 things. A, security, provides an audit trail. Most importantly, it provides efficiency. Efficiencies in workflows, efficiencies in processes. And overall, we hope down the line that it leads to tokenization of real estate, which will allow for the most efficient way of trading and transacting real estate with liquidity optionality. Those are a lot of big words.
Yeah, translate that into English for the folks at home. And by the way, you've been reading my list. My next question was, what's the end product you got there?
So the end product is that real estate is probably one of the largest supportive world economies. The downside of that is it's the most inefficient industry in the world.
Yes.
So what blockchain does for that, what this ecosystem is hoping to do with that, is making it more efficient every step of the way, whether it's a work process, whether it's a transaction, or whether it's providing liquidity optionality. So that is literally trading LP, GP, debt units in an actual physical asset on some sort of a marketplace, on some sort of an ATS that will function as a security and trade down the road, just like Apple stock.
Okay, so ATS is alternative trading system.
Thank you, Jim.
No problem. So the way that I typically now translate this part into English is that it all started with 4 guys on a golf course. One of them was an accountant. He said, boy, I can help you fund this shopping center development and make it into a tax shelter. Then I worked for a company called JMB. JMB created master limited partnerships. My friends at companies like Inland did public REITs, private REITs, TICs, DSTs. They were all had a couple of things in common. One was that they were sold by RIAs, registered investment advisors, to the general public and big institutions. And the other was that they were completely illiquid. And what this is going to do, and what it's doing now, is monetizing the real estate in a new way, but in a very simplistic and old-fashioned way at the same time, and giving a secondary market liquidity, which is really going to increase back-end value. And when is this happening? The time this is happening is basically now, but when a new technology or new approach typically takes off is when the old approaches stop working. And right now, the real estate capital markets are grinding to a halt. And all of my clients that I've done capital markets with, real estate operating companies, family offices, they're all looking at new ways to do it. And this is the way to do it. Sam, how do you help those people?
We help those. It's a complicated question, Jim.
You're a complicated guy.
I mean, I thought you'd throw me an easier one.
No way. You're the man, the myth, and the legend. You came in warmed up.
Mr. Mendoza hasn't even asked if we're ready for a break yet. But
we're not. We're going to have a break in another couple of minutes. You got probably a few minutes. Mr. Mendoza, how much time does he have?
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Mendoza.
Excellent.
Because now is usually the time that we talk about Warren Henry.
That's going to happen in 5 minutes. You got time to ramble.
We're going to fill it in. Okay, so what do I do? So what do we do? Inveniam IO really takes a bunch of documentation and we provide structure. We provide make that data actionable. What does that mean? We provide better data, which provides better value, which allows you to make A, better decisions, and B, better utilization and efficiency to your market, to your company. What is better data? Better data is data that comes in 17 PDFs and 27 tab Excel spreadsheets.
Hold on, because a lot of people say that and they don't really mean it. They really mean 3 or 4 or 5. It just seems like a lot. You really mean that?
No, I really mean that. I mean, if you take a 40-unit multifamily building, on any given month, you have anywhere between 10 and 15 PDFs and at least 2 15+ tab Excel spreadsheets just to know what the current financial situation is of that building.
And by the way, it's the same thing with a 500-unit apartment complex or a 350-room hotel or a large industrial project.
Well, it's just more PDFs or longer PDFs and more Excel spreadsheets with more tabs.
And who consumes all this data?
Who consumes it?
Yeah, who do you provide the data to?
Well,
without naming names, because we're here at the conference and we're not allowed to name names.
We don't provide or take your data. What we do is we extract the data information, we compile it, we organize it, we structure it, and we give it back to you while it never leaves your place at its place at rest. So we never take it out of your file room.
Your file cabinet, that's 4 times. We're 1 over now.
Your digital file cabinet. And then once we structure all that data, we push it out to our valuation providers. Again, not using names, but
big companies from around the world or even local companies, depending on who the consumer of who the owner of the data is, right?
Then they send it back to us, which we then create a data artifact, which is a fancy name for an executive summary with a table of contents with clickable linked source documents. So clickable, meaning you can see what you want, when you want, how you want with one click of a button.
So there was this old, well, back in the day, there was this commercial for FedEx, and the person was being chased down the hallway by a whole bunch of papers. Those papers don't exist anymore.
Well, we're in recycling, Jim.
I love you, Sam, but
But
you
keep in mind-
got to swing at that pitch and put it right over the plate.
So keep in mind though, the data still exists, right? But we're transforming that into information. So
Excellent. Well, I love that turn of the phrase.
So
That was great.
all of these data points, right? Someone still needs to go through them. Someone still needs to figure out, well, do they make sense? Can I trust them? How far can I trust them? And that's kind of the intelligence that we bring in, which is it's now information that you can just digest right away.
And it's secure and safe because everybody goes, my God, this is hackable. I don't want my competitor to see it.
No, it's permissioned, it's safe, and the whole thing is you've got the data audit trail. So when you bring in, for instance, your auditors or whoever it is that you want to give permission to access to, they can actually audit and make sure that the data trail makes sense, so that you're pulling data correctly and that what you're presenting makes sense through and through.
So actually, it's a way to reduce cost as well. One of the things that you do is reduce the number of times somebody has to touch something. And like, look, when people are going in, they're putting together their taxes, they go, oh my God, I have to go put my taxes together. Then they go pull out the file. The file has all their receipts. Even if their receipts are scanned, they're still documents. And what you guys do is what?
Provide one-click access.
Yeah, and I mean, look, if you've got trust, you've got to do less work on the data. And that's the bottom line. I mean, it's structuring data so that it is information that you can trust.
So this is the part of the podcast that Sam really relishes. I go, Mr. Mendoza, it's yours. We'll be back in a second. Let's talk about our sponsors. Hey, everybody. We're here to talk about our sponsors. For the last decade plus, our sponsors have been Warren Henry Automotive. I want to thank Larry, Warren, Eric, the rest of the team of Warren Henry for sponsoring the show for over a decade. So when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you
talk to Warren Henry, just like the rest of Jim's family, Jim's lovely wife, sister, mother.
Lots of my clients,
lots of his clients and friends, all have the Warren Henry guarantee.
It's the Warren Henry advantage. And first of all, they see their stores up on 151st and Biscayne. That's where they sell Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and now Lincoln. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audi. Down in the Keys, they sell them all. They all come with
the Warren Henry advantage.
That's right. And the Warren Henry advantage is a long list of things that you can get. It includes, of course, you can schedule. I'm going to actually go there this weekend. I'm going to see Maytel Stark. She's going to schedule my appointment. I'm going to get a loaner car. I already reserved it. Thank you, Maytel Stark. I lose my keys a lot. What happens when I lose my keys?
They replace it. What happens when you're not so good at parallel parking and you bump up against the curb?
I scrape my rims. Guess what they do?
They replace them.
Actually, they polish them up. Replacing them is a little bit over the top. Now, the other things that they do is I love you, Sam. The other things that they do is they'll give you 72 hours to return your car. Nobody ever returns their car. They'll guarantee you that you're getting the best price on your trade-in. They'll guarantee that you're getting the best the value on your trade-in, the best price on your new car or your leased car. And they'll give you the 72 hours, like I said. So remember, join me. You forgot my mom. Me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots and lots of my customer and friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. Sam's on his way.
And you should be too.
That's right. Always the best price. Always the best service. Always
Warren Henry.
I love him. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Freed. I'm the founder of Sandstone Realty Advisors. I'm here at the Inveniam conference helping get more information that I can dispense to my clients to help them better execute their transactions. Who are my clients? Their family offices, real estate operating companies, investment advisors, all kinds of players and all kinds of product types, office, retail, apartment, hotel, marinas, wellness, healthcare. They're all clients of mine. I help them find new ideas to help them capitalize their real estate transactions. I execute my I don't like the word execute, but I'm not on tape, so it doesn't matter. I am on tape, so it does matter, but it doesn't matter actually. What I really
live, Jim.
I am live, but Mr. Mendoza says it's okay, so it's okay. What I do is I help them solve problems. My personal brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. I do that by solving their problems, and then I bring them peace of mind. I do that all because they call me and they reach out to me and they share their problems and objectives, and I help them find creative solutions in an otherwise crowded field. And we use a lot of good data as well. So remember, reach out to me, DM me, call me, contact me, email me. And remember, whenever you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
We're having a great time getting smart at the Inveniam 3.0 conference. Is this the second conference? I think it's the second conference.
It is.
Second conference.
It's tremendous. We're building an ecosystem of thought leaders to go out and spread the word about how blockchain can be used on all kinds of assets, from securities to artwork to commercial real estate, which is the topic today. I'm joined by, I'm going to try to get it right this time, Marson Cunha. How did I do that time?
Marson Cunha.
I'm so bad.
You'll
at that.
get there.
Yeah. Jim's name I get easy every time. Sam Grossman. They're two executives with Inveniam. Someday we'll have Pat on and some of your other thought leaders too. I can't wait to get the guys that do the other international stuff. We'll talk about the subcontinent. I know you're all about Latin America. And we're here learning about the new trends in data and what that means to valuation. Better data means better decisions, means better values. We've talked about who's here, what the ecosystem is, why the ecosystem's here. I call it like a fraternity. Everybody's really cordial. We're not allowed to mention names. That's part of the rules. But we have a list of all the bunch of topics. I'm gonna read off my list. I never do this, but I'm gonna read off the list.
Jim, just to be clear, better data creates better value, allows you to make better decisions.
I don't interrupt you when you say when I say Warren Henry, so I should.
You do. You correct me so that next time I do it the right way.
I was going to say, well, you
right,
should.
so next time you'll do it the right way.
Exactly.
All
So let's take a deep dive into what's going on here. Let's talk a little bit about digital assets and securitization and what we've been talking about in general here at the conference.
So everything starts and begins with the data, right? That's the first part. It's really, in any industry, you got to start with something. And without data, you have nothing. There's data and there's better data. And when we say better data, we mean it's actually you can do something with it.
When you analyze, it becomes information.
And that
Thank you.
and that information.
You said it first.
And that information allows businesses to make decisions based on real data, real-time data, real-time value, instead of the old way of doing things, which had workflows that involved many different departments, many different hands, an incredibly high percentage of human error. And this way, with blockchain, we eliminate a lot of that human error. We eliminate the amount of hands it touches. By the way, we're not replacing the element of human touch. We're not replacing valuations because they're going to be done on a completely automated basis. We're not getting rid of all of the commercial brokers that are out there that are selling assets. Well, that's not what we're doing. We're making their job easier because we're providing them better data, better value, and equipping them to make better decisions.
Well said. I really appreciate that. Now let's talk about something that's been in the news lately, cryptocurrency, its impact on the world, and the new generation of investors that business model has brought to the table. It's not really a dirty word. It's something that really is a new technology that's evolving, and as new technology evolves, it has sometimes a bumpy ride, but there is a data format that it has created and a way to consume data and value assets that it's created. And what is that impact on the new investor in today's marketplace?
Well, first of all, you used the word that I don't like to use. We refer to it as the C word.
I know, but I tried to not be, I tried to be egalitarian and open-minded about that.
Blockchain is not crypto. Tokenization of real estate is not crypto. What we are in our ecosystem are very thankful to the crypto world for creating A, the marketplace, and B, the belief that you actually can trade this way.
Well, that's why I mentioned
these chains.
That's why I mentioned it. I wasn't saying that people should be using it to buy and sell real estate or any other asset. What I was saying was that it created the foundation for the next step in the process. And so that's the only reason I use it. And we've been discussing here how some people still use that term and still work on that term. And I was just trying to be open-minded and accepting of all rather than doing what I always do, which is say, I don't talk about the C word.
No, it's really important to
How did I say? Was that?
Yes,
Did I play it that
Jim,
way?
it was
I
good.
tried to play it right.
It's just very important to differentiate. We're very big proponents of investing in that sort of a environment, those sort of exchanges.
Oh, I know how to say it.
Right.
I know how to say it. Go ahead, you try, and then I'm going to say it.
On digital assets, but it's important that there's actually value and source documentation that is leading to the value of how that asset is traded.
So what the difference is with, you did really good, but this is, I'm gonna reduce it.
Can Marson talk a little bit? He's much
Only 1
smarter
second.
than I am.
Yeah, he's the smartest guy in the room, other than your parents, of course.
Absolutely.
But just one thing, you got to remember, a lot of us guys that are building this, we come from capital markets, or we come from real assets. So we come from a different kind of world where we like to see the substance, right? There's process, there's procedures, there's structure behind it. And once you actually build a digital asset, you're able to convey that in a much smarter way.
Well, the difference here between the C word and what we're doing is something called the Securities and Exchange Commission. And what we're doing is SEC compliant, which is all driven by having accurate, accessible
data.
Thank you. And what we use with that data is called, we make the data into
Information.
Okay, and then people use that information to make better decisions. And what we're doing is we're creating a standardized ecosystem that people can perform on, which will create efficiencies and better and more jobs for people in the industry. How do they do?
It's great. I mean, and
more transactions.
Well, that's going to make more jobs.
So basically, it's enabling people to do a lot more, but with a lot less manual labor in a way, right? So you're making things a lot more efficient and trustworthy. So all of a sudden, you're buying up or you're doing deals in Asia, and you're sitting here in Miami.
Well,
because you've got data, you've got information, you've ran through everything, and you can trust it.
Well, what the president of the international data part of what you told me, and my partner Jim McCarthy already knew, is that there's all kinds of barriers falling internationally to do this kind of investing. Why don't you talk about that for just a second?
Well, there's been a lot of talk and change about how to better structure regulations, how to make things more transparent, how to organize titles and registries. So there's a lot to do on that front, and there's been massive progress in Asia and Latin America and Europe to accomplish that. But it is still stuff that is being built. So you've got regions that are further along and that understand that tokenization is not circumventing any legislation or any type of legal framework. It's actually enhancing it so that all your financial legal covenants are better tracked and they're not in analog form anymore.
And they're consistent. One of the things that the token and the smart contract that's embedded in the token do is it makes sure that it's regulatory compliant, and it prevents people with basically digital walls from breaking down and breaking in. And let's talk about that for just a second. What's the difference between a token and a smart contract, and how do they interface to provide security for people's data?
Okay, so
easy question for you, Marson.
Yeah, you know I'm not a tech guy, but I'll do my
we're
best.
not tech guys either. Translate it to English so that Sam's parents will understand.
A smart contract is, think of it as a digitally enhanced contract, a legal contract that you would have, that helps you monitor all of your covenants, that helps you make sure that all the parties are keeping up with their obligations. So if they have to report, it's something triggers so that they report, it's actionable, and you get to track all of that.
There's
right?
like over 130 different components of the smart contract potentially.
Yeah, but think about it like this. If you invest in anything today and you're using DocuSign, you're using print and scan, you're using PDF, Adobe, it takes all of that and it digitalizes it. The difference is it also allows you to have notifications, making sure that you're keeping up with the things that are required in that smart contract.
Basically, you're making everyone who's a party to that contract in some shape or form accountable. Exactly. So every time they've got to do something, an alert can be triggered. I mean, you can customize and build a smart contract to do whatever you want it to do within that environment, right? Now, the difference between that and a token is a token can actually be an aggregation of these different smart contracts, which is all of these different PDFs and Excel files, right? That can be built as a smart contract individually. They're aggregated so that they prove a determined value, and then that gets traded globally.
Okay, so
And
what?
One second, Jim. Don't getting excited again, Jim.
I get all excited
I know,
about
you gotta
this. I
stay
love
calm.
it. Well, I wanted to make a
That-
point, but you go first.
That token goes into a digital wallet. I'm carrying a wallet right now.
Well played.
I have things in those wallets like a ID, a credit card or two,
Digital
a
wallet.
debit card. Those are three different things that can be in a wallet. Now, think about it this way. You own a piece of artwork that's been tokenized.
We're talking about real estate today, though.
That token, hold on, that token is one of the things that could be in that digital wallet, as well as a piece of commercial real estate, a piece of residential, a piece of whatever you want it to be.
Piece of debt.
All
that
of those
somebody did.
tokens can be held in that wallet. On top of it, we're talking data, because everything begins and ends with data. There's a piece of code that can go onto that security token that allows you to keep the data of that asset up to date on a real-time basis that travels with the token forever. If you sell that token to someone else, they can still see the historical data of that asset. To me, that is the ultimate solution to due diligence and transparency.
So let me just distill that into English now. So back in the day, people did real estate syndications. They had different shares of the real estate syndication. Fast forward a little bit, and a few years ago, they came up with fractional investing. People did timeshares. People did half share splits. They did quarter splits. They did eighth splits. They did seasonality. The timeshare did it by week. All of that is exactly the same as what we're talking about. All of those things are basically what we are terming tokens, but those tokens are really just digital representations. Oh, I'm going to say it. This is an epiphany for me, what I'm about to say. Real estate's just a bundle of rights. I learned that in school. And what we're doing is we're creating a digital representation of that bundle of rights. Oh my God, I'm writing that down.
Let's give it another example. So pick any REITs. REIT XYZ, doesn't really matter, right? Today, the way it is, it's a listed real estate, it's a listed REIT and everything. For you to dig into everything they own, you've got to read through all of their documents, right? Whatever it is that they're publishing, whatever it is.
This is where I go like this.
So, but you still need to, if you want to understand what it is that they have and what they hold, you got to go through it, right?
Oh, it's mountains and mountains of stuff, and it's so boring, and it's tough to find what you want.
If they actually provide you everything.
Well, this is going to make sure that I do.
Okay.
Right, and let's just say that they do, and you got to go through it every quarter, and you want to have a look at what it is that they've been doing for the last couple of years, because when you're going through an investment decision,
They call a
you
look
want
back.
to understand that.
Want to do a
Yes,
look back?
exactly.
That's what capital
Now-
markets call it.
So imagine if you could just click on it, and all of a sudden you get to see how their portfolio has fared. You get to see if they've traded any of their assets. You get to see how the rent roll is. right? You got permission to access and everything.
And who doesn't love
click
to see a good historical chart?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
and that's
historic
always fun,
performance,
right?
the historic performance doesn't indicate future performance. I have to give the disclaimer here.
Of course. But still,
Go
you
ahead,
need
because we've only got a
information.
minute, and then Sam has to do his favorite part again.
You still need the information though. So in order for you to understand if the risk that you're taking on with that investment makes sense, you still need to understand what they're holding, what they have held.
You're talking about doing due diligence?
Everyone should, right?
We're gonna get to due diligence right after this break, Mr. Mendoza.
It's yours. Ooh, I was posing for Sam's parents. They're in the peanut gallery today. Hey, everybody! Remember, when you're first of all, I want to thank our sponsors for over a decade. Warren Henry. This is episode like 706. They've been with us for a long, long time. Thank you to Larry. Thank you to Eric. Thank you to Warren. I can't wait to see Maytal Stark, my personal service provider, this weekend, and of course Ismet, who makes sure I always get the best deal. And remember, when you're looking to buy or lease your car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to go to
Warren Henry.
Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and now Lincoln up at 151st and Biscayne. They sell Audis up in Gainesville. Down in the Keys, they sell them all. And what do they all have in common, Sam?
The Warren Henry advantage.
That's right. My mom, my beautiful wife,
Vivian.
lots and lots of
Your
my clients.
sister.
She lives in Atlanta, but she comes down and she takes the car in for my mom sometimes. So yeah, my sister too, actually.
Okay.
Well played.
Thank you.
Okay. He even makes
Didn't
up
they
the stuff.
just redo one of their stores?
The man is amazing. Yes, they did the Lamborghini store up in Broward.
I heard it looks beautiful.
It's beautiful, and not only that, it's a great store. The Lamborghini comes with a different thing, but we're talking about Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, Lincoln, and Audi right now, and a lot of the other brands. They all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That's a long list of services. You know what? I'll bet they could tokenize that list of services.
Well, let's just give some examples of those services. Like, for example, when you forget your key.
All the time. Actually, not when I forget it, when I lose it, they replace it for free. They're really expensive.
And when you, because you don't know how to parallel park,
At all.
scrape up your rims.
They polish them up for me for
free.
there you go. And they'll also make sure that when I have my service loaner, when I have my service appointment this weekend, I've already made my appointment. So I get my service loaner for free so I can go up and visit my mom while they're servicing my
For
car.
72 hours.
No, that's different. What happens is when you buy that car or lease that car, they'll make sure you're getting the best value on the trade-in. They'll make sure that you're getting the best price on that lease or trade-in. I mean, a lease or purchase. And now comes the 72 hours. They'll give you
72 hours.
to make sure that you love your car. If you don't, you can trade it in or give it back to them. And guess what, Sam? They never have that problem because they're all great cars. So join me, my mom, lots and lots of my clients and friends, and
His beautiful wife, Vivian.
we're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best product, always the best service, always
Warren Henry.
say that to everybody. Oh, hi, everybody. You're back. We're cross-talking here on Freedom Business with my good friends, Sam and Marson. Did I say it again that right?
Marson.
Oh, fucking mess it. I mess it up. I mess it up every
Mendoza,
time.
you're going to beat that out.
Yeah, you are going to have to beep that one, Regan Mendoza, my producer and god of podcast production. Hey, everybody, I really appreciate you watching today. Reach out to me. I'm Jim Freed. I'm the founder of Sandstone Realty Advisors. People call me, they text me, they email me, they DM me, they reach out to me on LinkedIn. Why? Because I help them solve their problems with real estate transactions. My personal brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. I do that by solving their problems and bringing them peace of mind. I've got one client that I work with. We're going to talk about going out, and he wants to work with me, and we're going to market his services to all of the institutions I own. As the real estate market evolves, they're going to need some services he provides. We're going to identify some properties to invest in. We're going to capitalize those properties on the blockchain with my friends here from Inveniam. And
Because when you're a client of Jim's, it's all about you.
that's correct.
Yes.
It's a little early for that, but I appreciate it anyway. So reach out to me, DM me if you're a real estate operating company. Lots of my family office clients. Most of my clients are institutions, did a bunch of great deals with institutions, but since we're here at the conference, I'm not allowed to mention them. But this is the part that you like, Sam, and you can say it now. Whenever you reach out and call me, it's always
About you.
there you go.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
We're back with my friend Marson Cunha.
Getting there.
Oh man, I'll never
take
get
it 10
there.
more years.
Yeah, that's me from, that's my, what am I going to tell you? We're also here with Sam Grossman. That's a lot easier for me. And Sam's parents are in the audience today. Hi, everybody. What are their names?
My mom is Deborah, and my dad is Art.
Hey, Deborah and Art. Art's wearing real pants today. He came in shorts last time. High five to Art for that. We're here at the Inveniam 3.0 concert. Listen to me. Conference. And it was by invitation only, by the way. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of the ecosystem. We're not allowed to mention who's here directly, but we are allowed to mention some of the things we're talking about. Marson is the director for international investment. He covers Latin America and
the rest as well.
oh,
Yeah,
he's a big
transition.
shot. What we're talking about is using great data to make great decisions, because better data makes better information, which makes better decisions, which creates better liquidity and greater value. And we're going to do all that with using Web 3.0 on the blockchain. Let's talk about how that applies to real estate. You know, at the end of the day, we're going to be talking about real estate and the blockchain, AI and data solutions for real assets. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, let's just think about it this way. You know, when we talk about blockchain and real estate, the overall attempt of what we are doing, the overall goal of what we're trying to accomplish is bring efficiency to the most inefficient industry in the world.
Which, by the way, is universal, right? So bricks and mortar is the same anywhere in the world.
Absolutely. And so what we really want to do is we want to focus, first of all, interior on the workflows within organizations and how can we make those automated, more efficient, less hands touching, less human error, so that we have better actionable data, right? So that the output, the export, that what really is what the decisions are based on are in a better format. Now that's one. Now we have the external, right? The friction that is caused in any real estate transaction, right? There's three parts of the friction, right? There's the due diligence, hands down the most important part of it. The
Which is never efficient or complete.
The appraisal,
Which is never
short or quick or fast or easy.
or consistent with other appraisals. Each firm does their own thing.
Correct. So with these first two items, and then there's title, but we're
Title-
not dealing with title today.
Title's usually got it, they call it chain of title. It's just analog. You can digitize that, I would believe.
Eventually, but we're not talking about that today. But today we're going to talk about due diligence and how important due diligence is. Now, due diligence, the efficiency of the due diligence process is basically what we refer to at Inveniam as our deal room.
Hold on a second, because I'm going to stop right there and I want to make it good. So when I got started in real estate, and there was the real estate crash, and I did consulting for people that were buying portfolios, typically they would mail me a box of stuff. Today, that doesn't happen. What happens instead?
Instead, you, on a permission-based access, you create the deal room on Inveniam.io. You created, and all of the documents that you need to do due diligence are structured, linked, and allow you to get what you want, when you want, how you want, so that the 45, 60, 90-day due diligence period can be done in 15, 20, not sacrificing quality, not speeding through it so that you make a poor decision, but due diligence for doing due diligence sake. Like, for example, there was a few months ago, there was this, name company that had three initials. I don't need to use the name, but let's just say had they had blockchain, had they had documentation that actually was structured, right? Was structured and actionable.
Exactly.
Imagine the pain that could have been saved by just that little thing. So that's the biggest part of it, right? Due diligence becomes more efficient. Appraisals, because now we have all the due diligence data, gets pushed into a Argus model, which then allows the appraiser, he quoted today, said in front of the entire room, 50% less time to do one appraisal.
So let's talk about that for a second. Stop right there, because I had a phone call while everybody was networking yesterday. I think actually they were the breakout sessions with one of my friends. It's an investor. He has a 20,000 unit apartment project. He's talking about working with me on the blockchain. And then he asked me, Jim, I really want to buy some of these houses that I see for sale, or when I see them for sale in Palm Beach County. He goes, but they always want to close within 15 days. I go, well, dude, it takes like 2 weeks just for the appraisal. It won't soon, will it?
No,
provided that people sign on. Yeah.
But
change takes time. Adoption takes time. What we're here to tell you today is that we have created the solution to do it better, faster, more efficiently. Now, adoption is starting 3, 4, 5 years down the road. I don't know. I can't predict it, but it's no longer a matter of if. It is a matter of when. And so, yes, when transactions can happen from due diligence to valuation to title to closing documents can all be done through the blockchain. So you have the audit trail. So you have the AMC, KYC, AML.
Hold on. You know your customer and anti-money laundering.
You know who you're transacting with, and it actually is secure. That is the future.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got all of your data structured and it's information, you're always audit ready, you're transaction ready. You can do whatever you like with that data, and your asset then becomes a lot more trustworthy. Hence, you're building up the opportunity to be liquid.
And for institutions to get involved, because the institutions have a fiduciary responsibility to people.
Hey, Jim, what's coming up here in April? There's like a big date that happens every year.
Tax day?
So imagine if you could, with one click,
I guessed,
provide all of the information your accountant needs for your taxes. One click.
Boy, would my life be simple. What do you think I've been doing on the weekend for the past couple of weeks?
And that goes,
I got this big file cabinet five times file cabinet.
That comes for K1s, that comes with LLCs, that comes with corporate, that comes with assets.
Your healthcare thing that you have to report now.
So if any one of these pieces resonates with you, imagine if you add just one of them. Imagine if you add 3 of them. You're going to have a lot of time on your hands to what?
Make more deals, watch TV, go to the ball game,
start new businesses. Who knows?
Even buy more property. So we're kind of wrapping up now. What's the future of Inveniam? What's the next phase of your growth trajectory and your interface with your stakeholders, which most of them are here at the conference and I can't name, but there are a lot of big companies and a lot of really smart people. I'm really not the smartest.
I'm thinking 10 years down the line, though.
That's okay. I'll still be alive, God willing.
I'm going to do 5, but you can do 10.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
5 years down the road, we are going to have $500 billion of assets tokenized, and we are going to have a liquidity market, a liquidity pool, and transactions are going to be happening, and we are going to have 40% of the true efficiency we want to bring to the real estate market adopted.
Wow, that's really actually.
And I'm going to say 40% because we still are not going to have government buy-in. We're still not going to have Fannie and Freddie, but we are going to have a lot of big banks, and we are going to have a lot of institutions.
Well, but Fannie and Freddie are securities, so I got to believe they're already watching this. I know that some of the people that are in the room have worked.
Jim, watching and
doing
is two completely different things.
Well, I guess that we're going to have to start spending some money on lobbying too. But in 10 years.
Well, in 10 years, I think we're going to be able to start trading real estate through indices. right? So we're going to have
Real estate what?
indices.
Indices?
So think of an index, right? So all of a sudden you can go long
Like
Miami.
EFTs?
No, not really. So think of just buying, think of how commodities markets works, right? You're going to go and buy sugar futures.
I can buy and trade Miami
Exactly.
apartment markets futures?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's actually
Eventually,
really.
yes, because you're not going to show up at the exchange and say, look, I bought some futures, I'm here to pick them up. It
Or-
doesn't work that way, right?
Or imagine how diversification would work.
Exactly, and having true liquid alternative investments.
That's
So
tremendous.
all of a sudden, you've got enough data to support creating indexes all over the world. You've got these indices, and you're like long Miami multifamily and short New York office. Not
Oh
trying
my
to pick
God.
on anyone, just like
Oh my
as a
God.
strategy, and you can trade 24/7.
We were talking about that outside.
Trading
We were talking about that
24/7 and a
outside.
new version of allocation diversification in the investment world.
Now, if people want to get, well, yeah, one last word for Marson, because he put up his hand and I still didn't get his name right. It's been a whole hour.
Marson.
Marson.
I know it says that, but I keep saying shh. It's like I have a block in my brain. It's never going to be.
It's
It's like
okay.
I don't call you
Because
Todd.
it's
At
close
least.
to Shabbat. Yeah,
It is.
it's okay.
But basically, it's this future state is amazing. I think the ability to build on smart data, structured data, and give the data owners and the asset owners the ability to monetize that. It's going to be key.
So if people want to get more information, I know you guys give a lot of webinars. Are those webinars open to the public?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do they find out more about Inveniam and data creation and information creation? How do they find more about that? How do they listen to Pat, my thought leader friend?
Inveniam.io. Join us on LinkedIn, but Inveniam.io, you can actually click and get a demo test run yourself. And then we'll get a prompt, and either Marson and I will follow up with you and answer any questions that you have.
Marson Cunha, how'd I do that time?
That was great.
I love him.
All show, Jim. All show, you got it now.
I do. I have it. I really want to thank everybody for sitting in with us today. I hope that really we were able to project how open and friendly our ecosystem is. We really want people to join us. There is no question that's too small. There is no dumb question. Every question that people have is important. And that's why we're here today, is to make sure that people feel comfortable with working with Inveniam and their ecosystem that they've created. I want to thank Pat for bringing me on and creating the ecosystem, and being really a thought leader and taking a bunch of risks for our economic freedom. I want to thank our friends at Inveniam. I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry, our sponsors for over 10 years now. I'll be seeing them at Supercar Saturday this weekend. I'll be seeing my good friend Maytel Stark, my personal service provider, and I can't wait to see you. Mr. Mendoza, it's yours.